It's like
so
every
funny.
NFL draft where no matter who gets selected, everyone who's there at the draft always boos the draft pick.
Always.
And I don't get, like, you're booing
I
your
don't-
player who you're gonna buy their jersey in a couple of years, and they're gonna be your
Literally.
favorite player in your team. But you boo them day one, and then you act like you were with them for the start.
And then you're sad when they leave. And you're like, why would they have left? Did you remember the day you drafted him and you booed the crap out of him?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
like
that gives anybody confidence going into the professional
yeah. And I
football
would say,
league.
what's up?
Nothing much, dude. How are you doing?
Doing good. So not a ton has happened in college football this week in terms of
Yep.
like specific college football. But we
Right.
did get a lot of stuff that happened kind of in between in the combine,
Yeah. Yeah. The combine was great. Yeah.
and we're getting closer and closer to spring games. We're getting closer
I
and
know.
closer to real college football,
Right.
and we're in that like really sucky gap right now of
Yes.
nothing. That you have the combine and then the draft and the spring
Literally.
games,
Yeah.
and then nothing.
Well, the biggest news that I saw that's outside of the combine this week was that on March 3rd, Washington State's AD made a few comments about their upcoming schedule for 2026. I don't know if you saw that or not. Basically, what's happening is Washington State's going to have to play 9 straight games without a bye, which is not unheard of for college football teams to do, but I understand why he thinks that it will be bad for them. And then he also made a comment about their last home game being Thanksgiving week, where he doesn't feel like a lot of people will be there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of a dumb excuse, is what it sounds like to me, because
Okay.
I feel like I think every team in the pack has the same schedule layout. I think they all play their non-conference games up front,
First.
bye, and then it's like all conference games.
Right.
So I think everyone's in the same boat. Even if not, like, obviously it sucks, but I feel like most teams tend to have their bye earlier on, and then you go. If you have a late bye, it's usually pretty lucky. I think
Yeah.
like the biggest argument would be like you look at the SEC where they're like scheduling FCS teams week 12.
Yeah.
And they can't do that obviously because they have the flex and everything else.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's where I'm like that probably sucks. As for like the Thanksgiving break game, Boise State's had a Black Friday game at home for the last. They weren't home this year. They like prior to that they were home 3 years in a row as a morning game, and it was always sold out. So it's
More local people will be there. I know it sucks not to have as many students, but at the same time, it's a great day for families to go out on a non-school day and go watch some football. I mean, obviously, Oregon State in November, it's cold, but that's pretty much everywhere in the Pacific Northwest. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I understand what he's saying about the 9 straight games, but at the end of the day, your schedule is what your schedule is.
yeah, and other teams are going to be in the same boat, and if they go out and play it better, then you're left behind.
If you're
can't-
hot, you win 9 straight. If you're not, could be a little worse for you. So I guess it just depends on what the team does.
You got to go out and just be like Miami, Ohio, go 31-0,
Amen. Yeah.
and still not make the playoff.
Still not make March Madness somehow is what people are saying.
I really hope that they make it.
That's
Still.
BS. Yeah.
I know they're not West Coast, but they're group of 5, group of 6. Like they deserve a shot. I mean, it's what makes like even the college football. It's harder in college football, but like obviously basketball, it makes the Cinderella. It's what makes March Madness.
Exactly.
We've yet to have a Cinderella really in the college football playoff. Do you think that this could be the year?
I mean,
When I say Cinderella, like one win in the playoff, like a group of 5,
first
winning
group of
one
5
game.
win. Yeah. We
essentially.
need something. Somebody's got to break the ice at some point, right? And I would hope that happens this year because I think it just makes SEC fans really upset, and I like to see that because they think they're literally the best at everything. But I really hope that happens. We need something. The group of 5, group of 6, whatever they're calling us now, we need something in our book.
Yeah, I mean, so like CBS Sports put out an article this week, kind of talking about like the group of 6 and the top quarterbacks to make a push into the Heisman race. On that list was Micah out of Hawaii, who was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year, played
Yep.
really well. Obviously, he had a little bit of injury things kind of at the beginning and throughout, but he still played really well. Maddox is on that list, and which
Okay.
is interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Like obviously, you can't knock the guy. He's been a winner since he's been at Boise State. He did lead them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's a third year starter. He had some injuries last season, so but then he had 4 touchdowns and one MVP in the Mount Osao game. And I think that's what they hit on a lot is like they see him coming
Yeah.
back and improving, coming off of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it happens. Another guy on that list is Jackson Arnold out of UNLV. He was a
Okay.
kind of a
Yeah.
fall from grace, right? He was a high prospect at Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
lost his starting job, couldn't really get back. Went to Auburn, lost his starting job. Now he's at UNLV. See what he can
Right.
do. And then you have Jaden Dangle from San Diego State, who has played well. He's not turned the ball over a ton. I wouldn't say he's like the flashiest quarterback, but he's very efficient with his passing and his completion percentage. He did struggle a little bit at the end of the year, which obviously failed to get them into the playoff.
Right.
They had Army on the new quarterback, Kale Helms, I think is his name from Army, and he's replacing
Yeah.
Bryson Daly, who had a Heisman campaign with all his 1,200 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns. And then Navy's quarterback's also there. They also listed USF as a TBD. So
Okay.
we don't know who their quarterback is. Brian Hartline's the new head coach. Obviously, they lost everything. They also had Tulane
Yeah.
as a TBD, Memphis as a TBD, Washington State also. Like, so CBS Sports doesn't have an idea for the last 4 teams on their list and the G6. So when you hear those teams, like, what are when you look at those teams that they're saying, hey, these group of 6 quarterbacks are poised to make a college football playoff run. Do you agree with who's on that list? Are they missing people on that list?
I think Maddox is there just because normally quarterbacks don't stay that long at a university nowadays.
Yeah.
So I think that all respect to him. That's great. We appreciate that he's there. At least it's not what was happening with Talon a few years ago, where we would put a quarterback in every other drive and hope for the best is
And
what
that
was
was with
happening.
Maddox, and that was with Maddox too.
Yes, correct. So obviously we're going to talk about him later in the show. Yeah, he had a great combine for him. So I actually saw an article yesterday, scrolling through X, formerly known as Twitter, because we have one of those now. Go see our reposts, all those things. It's a lot of fun. I was looking and a lot of people were saying that Memphis is going to be the one. Memphis is going to break through this year. And now we haven't seen a Memphis team that's been dominant since how many years ago? It was a
I
few years ago.
since the team that beat Boise,
Yes. Yeah. So they're expecting them to be a powerhouse in the group of 6. And so I think there's a chance that that quarterback does get some love, especially if they get a good start of the season, of course, And then USF, I don't know. Their schedule, when I was looking at it, I know this is off pod topic, but USF schedule is way easier than last year. So they should be in the conversation as well. I love that the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are getting their flowers for our quarterbacks because yeah, we've had a lot of good quarterback play last year.
mhm.
And then some transfers coming in that are gonna up our game even further. So I think I ultimately agree with it. It's hard to know. It's hard to know, obviously, with all these really early stuff and they're only playing against their own defenses
Mhm.
as of right now. So um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a great I think it's going to be a great quarterback season for West Coast schools.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, like, I think schools like Memphis, they like to hype themselves up a lot. We saw it a lot with, when there was talk about them going to the Pac-12, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the Big 12. We're gonna get a power forward."
Right.
But, like, sorry, guys, it's not coming. You guys they think that they might have the market for it.
Hmm.
They're just never I don't think they're ever gonna be the team that they think they are. Even then I look at I still felt the same way about, like SMU, and obviously they have a really big market in Dallas and very big alumni backing and all that. And they made the playoff, and which, props to them when they did,
Yep.
but they still got killed, like just like every other team, because they're still in my mind, them and Houston, they're both still G5 schools. I wouldn't
Right.
say that just because they're in that conference that all of a sudden, they're this power program. I don't view them that way. And I think it'd be the same way for Memphis. I even look at their basketball team and it's like, how many times are you guys going to break NCAA recruiting violations and all this stuff and then act like you're this team? So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I think without knowing who the quarterback is, obviously there's some question marks,
Mm-hmm.
but they will be playing Boise State at home this year.
Yes.
And I
Thank
think that
goodness.
game clear opens up. Like, we'll
Yep.
answer a lot of the questions, just like last year when Boise played USF, and you're like, oh, Boise State, who was ranked, now not the team that we thought they were, and USF now has a quarterback who looks dominant, and he was in the Heisman conversation until
Yep.
they fizzled out. But
Right.
I think it's going to be another one of those seasons where you have a really key matchup up front, and it'll tell us a lot about who could represent the outcome of that game. Kind of their path is set. If you go undefeated, you win that game, then you go win your conference.
Yep. And you're
You're
there.
making the playoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Jumping along into some of our combine, you know, risers, fallers, guys kind of stayed in the middle. Obviously combine's a big week for a lot of guys. It's not as big as it used to be, and that's usually, people will choose to often more to go to their pro day, and it makes sense. Like,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
have it, you're like for wide receivers, you have your own quarterbacks throwing to you. You have your
Mm-hmm.
own staff, your own facilities. It's a little more controlled. So, and expect a lot of these guys who did well or did poorly, especially guys that did poorly at the combine, will probably do really well at their pro day because it's their facility and you can control a little bit more of the things. They'll probably do everything they didn't do at the combine at their pro day. So we'll see. You've seen guys like, I think quarterbacks are one of the bigger ones. Like, you always see quarterbacks either really rise or really fall in the combine.
Yep.
Same with wide receivers. Like, if you're slower, you will drop down the boards. So number one, the overall performer was Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon, tight end. He obviously had a really great season this year, but I would say he's probably the biggest winner out of all of our Western teams. He ran a 4.39 40. He's 241. He's not a small
Yep.
guy running 4.3. Had a 43.5 foot vert,
Yep.
11.1 broad. He's the fastest. Well, he's run the fastest 40 for a tight end since 2003.
Yeah.
So they're now, what they're saying is they're projecting him like top 20 first round. So I wouldn't say, like, obviously not as high as like Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, when he came out, was like, I think he was drafted fourth. He was like up there, but
Right.
he's probably one of the top tight ends we've seen since Kyle Pitts. And it'll be, well, I guess Colston Loveland and
Loveland. Yep.
Warner, like, he's
Yep.
on the level of those guys, is what it
Yep.
sounds like coming after this performance.
Yeah. He should look for him to be drafted. Yeah. He could be drafted top 15. There's definitely, there's
Yeah.
a market for him.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a tight end. Everybody wants somebody who's big, who can, and this guy runs super fast for a tight
Yeah.
end. So,
Yeah.
yeah, look for him on your fantasy team. He's going to be starting somewhere.
No, it's kind of like what we saw with Colston Loveland, right? Like, the Bears drafted Colston Loveland, and he just became the whole center of their offense.
Basically.
And they just traded away DJ Moore. So it's like, you literally, like, he is the guy. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like Kittle and
Yeah.
Kelsey and Gronk. Like, these guys become the center of their offense. So the tight end has become increasingly big in the NFL and in college. In college, you see them more lining up like they split out wide like a wide receiver. Like,
Right.
a lot of these guys are training as if they're wide receivers. They're just giant wide receivers.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be a problem for some defenses in the passing game and in the run game with blocking and everything like that for whatever team decides to take a chance on him.
Yeah. Okay, so second guy on our list. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Taylor Green,
Yep.
former. Obviously, he's at Arkansas, not West Coast, but he's a prospect of Boise State,
Yep.
who then ended up at Arkansas. He split reps with Maddox, and at the time, everyone's like, "Hey, we want Maddox to start." Okay, well then Maddox tears his ACL, and now it's okay. Now we want Taylor to start. And then they didn't want Taylor to start. They got Maddox, and now they don't want Maddox anymore. So,
Can't have it
are
both ways.
you were you surprised by his combine? Did
I
you
actually
expect to see this from his combine? What are your thoughts?
I was surprised by his comments. I think his comments were I think his comments were smart. Everybody likes a versatile quarterback, but the fact that he ran a 4.36 means he can change positions and he's a giant. So, I think when I was watching, his was one of the ones I watched, and when I was watching, I just was blown away a little bit because, like, obviously we saw how fast he was at Boise State when he was here. But after his first season at Arkansas, Arkansas kind of had a rough stretch a little bit
Mhm.
the second year that he was there. And so we didn't really hear a lot about Arkansas after the fact. But yeah, I think he definitely boosted his stock. He broke some records if I'm remembering correctly when he was testing his vert or broad jump, things like that. But it'll be interesting if a team pulls the trigger on him and then asks him to be a tight end or a wide receiver. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the dude had the same bird as Kenyon. So it was like,
Right.
it's like he can get up, and I've seen it. Like we saw it at Boise State. He was hurdling guy. Like his
Yes.
go-to move was to hurdle defenders. And as a starting quarterback, every time he did it, I was like, "Oh, that's sick." But like, don't take hits. Like you're gonna go up and get blown out. Like, that's the last thing we need from our starting quarterback.
Yeah.
But I always look back to like the Utah State game on the end of the season. I think his sophomore year, he just took a 90-yard run, like read option up the left sideline and just was
Yeah.
gone. And that's
Yep.
that forward three speed. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
there. It's football speed, and he has it. Even at Arkansas, like he was quick. He had made some really good throws, and there was a lot of people that looked at his throwing at the
Yeah.
combine that was like, "Hey, this guy has a really good deep ball and all that." He does, but he also comes with a lot of interceptions. I wouldn't say he's the most accurate passer.
Yeah.
His passing has some issues, and I say that's pretty common of running quarterbacks. Like
Mm-hmm.
even Lamar is a great passer, but you can force him into bad throws. He's gotten better. Josh Allen is probably like is a better, like, he's a great runner, but he's actually has the passing aspect to it.
Yeah.
So I could see Talon being a good backup quarterback. I'd be a little surprised if somebody changed his position just because of he is very
That's fair.
he's very skinny. He's doesn't have a lot of weight to him or muscle to him necessarily to be a tight end or a wide receiver. I mean, like if you look at him, he's the same height as T Law. So they're both 6'6",
Right.
but Talon looks so much taller just because he's more lanky.
Yes.
He's shifty and fast. So it'd be curious to see. I see him probably being a backup quarterback. If someone's like, hey, let's run a trick play or something. Let's throw this
Right.
guy in. That's just gonna,
Yeah.
he can, he's in. He can throw bombs and be accurate on the deep ball. He's not gonna make. I don't think he's gonna make it like the quicker throw decisions as well.
Makes me wonder. Obviously, I don't know what the Ravens need, but can you imagine if he was under Lamar?
It
I
would
mean,
make sense.
they're similar, and in that offense, you could definitely see him getting.
Yeah, and they have a new head coach
Yep.
this year, and they had Tyler Huntley, who was also very similar to Lamar, not as quick and
Mm-hmm.
shifty, but like running quarterback, like so it does fit their system. It would make sense to see it. So that could be a good landing spot. It's a
That'd be
good
cool.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so then kind of moving down our list, there's some other, you know, group of six guys that have kind of risen up the radar a little bit. Chris Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
cornerback out of San Diego State. They said like probably had one of the most impressive combines overall for corners. He ran a 4.4, 38
Yeah.
vert, and they probably played himself into the top 50 conversation. And he's definitely on that group of six rising list. Another guy on that like group of six list is John Michael Gillenborg, tight end out of Wyoming. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching this guy even, when we played him over the years in Mountain West, and he's a beast. Dude
Yep.
catches things. He's a great blocker. Very smooth in his movements. And NFL.com had him listed as a stock up for them. He ran a 4.6 40, 10.8 broad.
Yep.
Very, their comments were, hey, smooth movement, smooth hands. And the Mountain West coverage on him is kind of focused on like his workout restored momentum that he lost throughout the season because he was hurt so much.
Right.
Like people saw him healthy, saw him strong, and now his stock's slowly going up. He'll probably be a day two, like a late day two, late day three guy. I wouldn't imagine him
Yeah.
being super high on anyone's board, but like it's kind of like John Bates from Boise State a couple years ago. Like
Mm-hmm.
he made it to the Commanders. He's still there. He's a really great blocker. He doesn't get like all the passes like a Zach Ertz or somebody does, but
Mm-hmm.
he's out there and when they need him, he makes the key blocks and he gets the job done. So I could see him being one of those guys that, comes in and he has a good role in an offense. He's not going to be the flashiest guy, but he's going to be out there and make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think the biggest thing, like what you said, is his workout and different things like that. The reason why his draft stock went up so much is because the question mark was his injury and his injury history. So the fact that they were seeing and we were seeing how smooth he was, especially running routes and different things like that, and running a 4.6 coming off of an injury. So I think, yeah, I think he could be a fun little piece to look forward to for any of the NFL teams who need that X factor guy
Yeah.
that maybe is kind of flying under the radar a little bit, as
Yeah. I
Wyoming
think that's,
people do.
hey, I mean, you had Josh Allen come out of Wyoming, so never know. I think the hard thing that sucks the most about the combine is that injuries and injury history always plays such a big role in like
Yeah,
how people see these athletes.
yeah,
And you look at like I've even heard like Caleb Downs, who, one of the top safeties coming out of Ohio State, like it's come up about I saw something about like knee injury concern. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like so like if somebody were to he'll probably tank in the like who knows? He might tank in the draft because they look at this and like, oh, he could have knee injury things. It's like, sure. Dude's one of the top safeties. He's gonna play lights out. Like happens all the time. You see guys that they get labeled as an injury risk, they drop down the board, and they come out and play like a stud, and they don't get hurt. So
yep. Just
we'll
waiting
see.
for the good teams to pick him up. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just how it works.
yeah. So when I look at this, our list of guys in the combine, another
Mm-hmm.
guy, Sam Roosh, tight end out of Stanford,
Yep.
another under the radar guy who's slowly kind of
Mm-hmm.
climbing up draft boards. NFL.com had him initially ranked as their 22nd overall tight end. Now have them ranked seventh on the list.
Yeah.
Big blocking tight end. They said he turned
Yep.
himself from a depth guy to an early, like day two, early day three pick. Like tight ends are like they're the strong part coming out of the West. It's not the quarterbacks. It's not the wide receivers. I mean, and there's some good wide receivers coming out, but like the tight ends are the dominant group this year.
Yeah. They definitely are. We're gonna see a lot of West tight ends getting taken off the board in this draft for sure. Coming up in what, like 50 days, something like that.
Yeah,
Somewhere around there.
yeah, definitely. And I think we'll shift a little bit into offensive line. There were two offensive linemen that kind of have okay days. I wouldn't say like they didn't hurt themselves in any way. They probably didn't boost themselves in any way. And I think
Mm-hmm.
one is Spencer Fenn out of Utah, and one is Cage Casey, who out of Boise State, who obviously we're well familiar with. And I don't know as much about Spencer. I know he's a very good offensive lineman, and for him, like the NFL had him on the all combine offense list for his movement and his workouts.
Yeah.
But what overshadowed all of that was his size. And they said that,
Mm-hmm.
his arms 32 and an eighth inch arms, below the typical tackle threshold. And, for me as a Patriots fan, this instantly brought me back to Will Campbell. Like that was the
Yeah.
biggest thing for Will Campbell. Everyone said that he was too small. The arm length
Yeah.
was an issue. And he did very well in his rookie season. Obviously, he struggled in the playoffs, and I think that was more of a knee injury issue after he had an MCL injury late in the season, more than it was an arm issue.
Right.
So I see Spencer probably he's gonna do well. It's all gonna depend on how the team who that drafts him, if they put him in the guard or the tackle position. But I think he's gonna be able to succeed. He's a great player. He's got good movement. He's gonna play well. And then Cage Casey, obviously, at Boise State
Mm-hmm.
has always been lights out.
Yeah.
Never gives like rarely gives up a sack. Absolutely blows guys over, which for run holes, which is what
Yeah.
he's one of the reasons Genty had the season that he had.
Yeah.
So he's ranked 12th in offensive lineman. He's viewed as one of the better O-line prospects, and I agree with that. Workout wasn't like this crazy viral workout, but it was solid, and he's still going to be a day 2 pick.
Yeah.
And I think he kept his stock where it needed to be. And for a guy like that coming out of a smaller school, I think that's all you.
Yep. You just want to get drafted. That's been their goal forever, and he'll be a contributor wherever he goes. Okay. Wide receivers.
A lot of wide
It was
receivers coming out of the
a
West.
it was a tough day for some of the heavy hitters, or for some of the guys that are supposed to be the guys. When I was watching, this is one of the ones I watched a lot. There were some really big disappointments. Not saying that they like ruined their draft stock, but as long as, I'm guessing most of these schools have pro days, don't quote me on that, but obviously the big schools, USC and Washington, probably do. So, Denzel Boston, right? We've heard about him all season. He had a great year. There were some issues. It's always interesting. They get like one shot at catching the ball like 5 times,
Yeah.
running straight down the 40-yard line or whatever they do. And if you miss some, they really are nervous about it, which I think is interesting. But basically what was happening in those was, not only was Boston struggling, but Jordan Tyson from Arizona State was struggling. And then Mekhi Lemon,
Mhm.
he got outperformed by one of his teammates big time. And so all 3 of these guys, they didn't have the combine they wanted, especially Jordan Tyson, who had the worst combine out of the 3, in my opinion.
Okay.
Maybe you hold a different opinion, but
Yeah.
when you only want to do a few things at the combine, those few things are going to be, you better be on your A game for those few things. He only planned on doing the bench press, from what NFL.com said, because health and durability questions and different things like that. He missed some time in every college season he's played so far.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And
he's
we saw
played,
it play out in
yeah,
their push to the playoff. Like they did not have
yep,
him available when they went to the playoff.
yep.
And if he was there, they probably beat Texas.
Yeah, did you watch the video of his bench press?
I did. And I think, here 26 reps, 1 rep short of DK
Yep,
Metcalf's record, which, I think there's 2 things that came out of that bench press. One is that everyone was nervous about his collarbone. And
okay,
I think he showed that he has the strength and that
yes,
that's not going to be an issue necessarily. And I
correct.
think part of it is like you get hit one way, you probably can't prevent that. But obviously, he looks healthy.
Yeah,
The collarbone looks good. He has the strength. The other thing that came out of it was, should have the reps have counted? Because according to the NFL Combine's rules, your butt has to be flat on the bench.
mm-hmm.
And if you look at his video,
It's,
he is all over the place, kind
yep,
of lifting off the bench. Oh, we'll see what happens. It obviously killed him a little bit that he
yeah,
didn't do things.
yep,
I don't think it hurt him at all. I think it was just more like people wanted to see it.
yeah,
But I think the tape shows everything for
yeah,
him.
yep, for
Same with
sure.
Denzel Boston. Denzel Boston, very talented wide receiver. We saw him in the
Mm-hmm.
LA Bowl. He
Yep,
played very well. Obviously, going up against not great corners at Boise State. You know,
yes,
we always struggle with cornerbacks in the pass
always.
defense. But I wouldn't say I think he probably just stayed a little more neutral. Mekhi
Fair.
Lemon, like you said, definitely got overshadowed by Jacoby
Yeah.
Lane.
Yep. Hey, good
And
for Lane.
yeah, and I think Lane's an amazing prospect. I mean, you have 2 they were a great duo coming out. You have 2
Mhm.
studs coming out of USC. Lane ran a 4.47, 40-inch vert, made the all combine offense. He had a highlight reel of the season, boosting his stock. And Lemon too. I mean, Lemon had a really great season.
Yes.
He's still gonna be
Yeah.
I still think he'll be the top wide receiver off the board. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But there were some concerns over, his interviews didn't seem to go all that
Well,
well. His on-field workouts didn't seem to quite be paying attention. He looked like he was just kind of jogging through some of the reps,
yeah.
and he wasn't where he needed to be. So when the ball was thrown, he was, 10 yards shorter than he needed to be because he wasn't running all the way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think he'll get to the pro day, he'll see that, he'll make the adjustments. He's gonna have a really good pro day, and he'll still be an on-field stud. But obviously, his combine was less than ideal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these three fall for sure. I mean, any team in the NFL's needs wide receivers. Any of them would take these guys, I think, no matter how many passes they might have dropped on their combine day. So,
Yeah, definitely. The only other guy, there were some safeties as well out of Arizona.
mhm,
Dukes and Smith, good duo. Dukes ran a 4.33. They see him as a major sleeper. Uh, he jumped to 10.10 in the broad and then finished the workout with a little bit of a limp. I don't think that that's going to really be an issue, but
right.
it's definitely going to boost him into a late round. Smith as well, 42.5-inch vert, 10.8 broad. With the NFL like really highlighting his explosiveness, and I think people were very satisfied with that. And Kamari Ramsey is the big one for me out of USC. I think he's a really top defensive back prospect. He ran at
Mhm,
4.47. He's not in the same like tier of Taylor Green and all that of like, hey, this was an amazing combine, but he helped keep himself where he needs to be as a versatile tight end. He didn't. You're not seeing a bunch of headlines about him, but I think his stock is right where it needs to be, and his on-field performance is going to show it as well.
right. Yeah. If we missed any, let us know. There's a lot of guys at the combine. Obviously, we're just talking about the West Coast guys, but there was something funny that happened to a quarterback that you love so dear to your heart. Miami's quarterback had a weird experience at the combine. He was getting booed every time he took the field. Do you know why
Really,
he was getting booed?
I don't. I missed his combine, so no.
Yeah. He didn't do too bad. Carson Beck didn't do too bad. I mean, I think it was just he made the national championship, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that holds some weight.
yeah.
He got a team that I don't know if they should have been. Their defense obviously got them there. Um, yeah, so it was in Indianapolis, and every single time he took the field to throw the ball, there was boos all around the stadium
Just all the
because
Indiana fans that showed up.
Indiana was all over him. Yeah, the commentators were like, I think this is the first time at the combine somebody was playing on the road.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It
It
was
makes
really funny. Yeah,
it makes sense, but like I wouldn't have thought of like a bunch of Indiana fans. And part of it too, like I get the booing if you would have like lost the game.
lost.
I don't quite
Yes.
understand it. You
I
won the
don't know.
game, and obviously he didn't play all that well in the championship game.
Yeah.
I don't love that. Like why go boo somebody at the combine?
They're gonna be on your team, bro. Like, just hey, you gotta be
If you
careful who
yeah,
you're booing.
what
Yes.
happens if the Colts draft this guy and all these
Right?
Indiana fans that are also Colts fans, and you're stuck with Carson Beck, who very well could be your starter
Yeah,
if
he could
Daniel
be.
Jones gets hurt or
Yep.
somebody else. Like the Colts are not solidified at quarterback. So
Please, please make this happen. This
it's
would be
it's like
so
every
funny.
NFL draft where no matter who gets selected, everyone who's there at the draft always boos the draft pick.
Always.
And I don't get like you're booing
I
your
don't
player who you're gonna buy their jersey in a couple of years and they're gonna be your
literally.
favorite player in your team, but you boo them day one and then you act like you were with them for the start.
Yeah, and then you're sad when they leave. And you're like, "Why
Yeah.
would they have left?" "Oh, I don't know. Did you remember the day you drafted him and you booed the crap out of him?" I
Yeah, and
don't
it's
think
like
that
you're
gives anybody confidence going into the professional, like,
yeah. Yeah, and I
football
would say
league.
college football is the same way right now. I look at quarterback especially, but
Yeah,
Boise State has been it's been a great example. I'd say and part of it is because Boise State was so lucky with Kellen Moore
yeah,
and Coach Pete, and not duo. And then you had like Grant Hedrick and Southwick and Henderson and Rippon, and you had these guys
uh,
that were just elite quarterbacks, did what they needed to do, and there was a little bit of a QB competition with Rippon from the end of his
yeah,
days, but it wasn't there was never like like quarterback controversy like it is now.
yeah,
Whereas you had Talon, like
mhm,
Bachmeyer, who had a really good freshman year. He beats Florida State on the road. and then he starts to struggle, and then it's like, hey, we want to see Taylor Green
Yep,
because
we're done.
Green came in one play in the fourth quarter of losing to Oregon State, and he
Uh-huh.
runs like a 60-yard touchdown, and everyone's like, oh, that dude should be in.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Bachmeyer ends up leaving. Taylor gets a start, and then just as much as like that, it's like, okay, well now Taylor's struggling because he's turning the ball over. We're not winning games. We want Maddox. And they go to this quarterback system of like Maddox and Taylor. And it's like, hey, this series is this guy. This series is like you really
Mm-hmm.
expect us to the quarterback to get in a solid rhythm when you give them one drive
You
at a
get 2
time.
throws. Yeah. You get
Yeah.
2 throws after you hand off the ball. Yeah.
But it's this thing of like, hey, we want Maddox to start over Talon. Okay, well then Talon leaves. Everyone's kind of like there's people that are obviously like, oh man, we're gonna regret that, but we're excited to have Maddox. Now Maddox struggles, everyone's like, we don't want Maddox. And it's the only
Right.
thing that I look at like college football as a whole, and even Boise State fans to a large extent. I'm like, you're not doing your team any favors when you go out and you boo your starting quarterback every time. Like it's
Yeah.
like the grass is not always greener on the other side. Like, Maddox
Or
is a I
bluer
would
in
say
our case.
Maddox is a yeah, I would say Maddox is still the best quarterback on Boise State's roster.
Yeah,
The dude
right
is
now.
not a bad quarterback.
No.
He does not turn the ball over very often. His size is a question and an issue, but he's mobile enough to make the gutsy plays when he needs to go and take the hit, and he's won games. And so it's just one of those things that's interesting about college football where it's across the board. Nobody's satisfied because you want to win now. In the world of NIL, everyone just wants to win now. And so it'll be like even Indiana, like
They
obviously
did not help this.
they're a very
They
unique
did not
case of
help.
like this is the losingest college football team of all time, and they've
And
lost
then we
one
got
game in
some
the last
money.
2 years. And I think part of that's the system that Kurt Signetti has built and
Yeah, he's a winner
the
for
coach
sure.
that he is.
Yeah.
And I think Boise State has that with Danielson. Obviously, he is a great leader as well. To Maddox, will it bite? Will it bite us in the butt? I don't know. I still think. I mean, he's the best. The only thing I question with Boise State and some of these other schools is at least bring somebody in to compete.
Yeah, can we try? I mean, not that is it Cutforth? Is that the guy
Yeah,
from Skyview? Yep.
yeah,
So local kid, right? Nampa, Idaho. He played great in 1 or 2 of the games that he had to play for Maddox, right?
yeah.
Like we were like, okay, could this be the future? And yes, I am one of those fans that anytime somebody does good, I am always like, all right, put him in, leave him in until he doesn't do good again. Obviously, as you know, I text you all the time when the games are happening, and I'm like, what were we doing?
Brad
Mostly it's about,
panics at the small. We could be 10 seconds into a game, and we will throw in it like turn the ball over. It's like, it's over. Chalk it up. We're done. Season's over. And then
okay,
we
but I
go on
was
a
right
win by.
about
And then we go
USF.
on a win. Yeah, you were about that. But then we go on a win by 20. And it's like, hey, we're good. We'll be good.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine what 9 innings of Yankees baseball looks like for me. Yeah, this is not good for me.
Yeah, but like to your
But
point, like Cutforth played well when he
yeah,
came in. But then I look like so then there was the conversation even this year. It's like, oh, we'll put Cutforth in. It's like, okay. And then I go back and look at but then I go back and look at 2 games. And this is where I'm like, okay, Maddox went down against Fresno.
yeah,
Cutforth comes in, turns the ball over 3 times. They don't move
yeah,
the ball. We still lose.
right.
And the game was not out of hand when he came in,
Yeah,
but nobody really talks about that.
yeah.
Washington, and then there's the Washington game. Max comes back for the championship, plays great in the championship against UNLV. Then they play
Uh-huh.
Washington in the LA Bowl. Maddox struggles. I don't think he's fully healthy. Cutforth comes in and struggles just as much. So it's just like one of the things where I'm just like, I think they're very similar players. Cutforth is great, but it's like when you play a tough defense, you're going to play a tough defense. Like,
Fresno and Washington were 2 of the best defenses we played last year.
yeah, like I don't think
Yeah.
regardless who you had at quarterback, I don't think
Mhm.
that the outcome was going to end. Obviously, I think the outcome you have a better chance with Maddox only because he knows the offense and he's familiar with those
Yes.
wide receivers. In the Fresno game,
Yeah.
Washington was another beast. I don't think that regardless of who was in,
I
it
did
wasn't going to
not pick
matter.
Boise State to win that game
Yeah, I
flat-out.
think part of that is like the defense was going to be an issue, but Washington's offense was going to be an issue.
Yeah, well, Boston against any of our defensive players was gonna be an issue.
Yeah, yeah, he had a highlight reel of the game.
Can we get some help in that department? Like,
I miss the
it's every
days.
year almost so far recently,
It's
like
been a while since we've had like that Khalil
yeah,
Shakir and just Cam Camper last year. When we made our playoff run, had a kind of a sneaky
yeah,
season where
yes,
he was kind of that guy who will be that guy this year for Boise State. It's been a while since they've had a wide receiver
a
that's
guy.
led the conference.
Yeah,
So it's like I look at like Colorado State in years past with Torrey Horton and Nick Nash at San Jose
yep,
State. Darren Scudero there now. Like you have all these other wide receivers in the conference, and these other schools get these wide receivers that they're
mhm,
going to be an issue. And
yep,
I think that's a key missing piece for Boise State again.
yeah, there's a lot of question marks. We'll just have to see how our hype goes when we are at the spring game in a month and yeah,
Yeah,
a month
about a
and then
month
some.
and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think as we get closer to the season, we'll start to see more of this unfold. Washington State's going to have some quarterback battles.
yeah.
UNL,
They announced their roster. We know who's in that battle now, but
yeah, yeah. Obviously, UNLV is, and Jackson Arnold is
mhm,
guessing is going to be the guy. I would be
probably.
shocked if it was anyone else.
Yep.
The one team going back to our CBS Sports,
Mhm.
like their quarterback buzz thing for the
Yep.
playoff. The team I was surprised they left off the list was New Mexico
Fair.
because their
Yeah.
quarterback is back.
Yep.
They're coming off of a very good season. And I was
Mhm.
like, he just might not be as flashy of a quarterback, but I mean, to include teams where you just put TBD and you don't even know who their quarterback
Yeah, that's
is.
tough. It's almost like, okay, here's my dart and oh yeah, there's the group of 6 and yeah, that's about what they did. And they're like, "Who's their quarterback?" "Oh wait, all their teams left." "Yeah, I don't know. We'll see."
Yeah,
But
I
they're
would have
gonna be
rather
good. That's all they're hoping for.
them put them
I
over
might have made a mark on
San
my
Diego
wall.
State.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I probably would have put them over San Diego State.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. New Mexico is not gonna get yeah, it needs some love. I mean, we gave them some love last week in our rankings, but they're scary. They're gonna be a scary Mountain West team.
Okay, ask Brad,
Oh, goodness.
everyone's favorite the Western Front segment.
Yeah, last week was Syracuse saying they had a good season. Oh, we'll see
Okay,
what this one holds today.
so today's question comes from a viewer of the Western Front.
Okay.
Who is
Appreciate
the
you.
all-time passing leader, yards leader in college football history?
Do you know how tempting it is to say the one that I want it to be?
And I know exactly who you're thinking of. And the person who submitted this question, I asked him, I said,
Knows yeah.
who do you think he's going to pick?
Yeah, he knows exactly who I probably. I'm not gonna say that person because it's probably wrong, which is why it's the trick question. Okay, most
But is it?
I'm not looking it up. All-time passing yards leader. All-time passing yards leader.
It was around the
It's a
same era.
yes, era. Well, it wasn't Cam. Cam. Trying to think of the other Heisman era guys that were right before or right after him. Wait, maybe. Okay. Was it a West Coast guy or was he big school guy?
Can't tell you.
Okay, I have 2 thoughts right now. First thought. I really hope it's not some random guy that ended up being awful in the
It's not.
NFL.
It's not.
Okay. My first thought is Baker, but I don't remember when he graduated from Oklahoma or I guess went to the draft. That's my first thought. And then it's not Nevada's quarterback. Don't believe so. If it is, then
It's not Kaepernick if that's what you're
okay, I
thinking.
didn't think so. Even though he ruined our hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the cornerback who's intercepted the ball ruined our hopes and dreams.
So who are you locking in?
Okay. Let's lock in Johnny Football. Is
Johnny
it Johnny
Manziel.
Manziel?
It is not. And that actually that answer surprises me. I was a little. That's not a bad pick, but I don't think he
Okay.
played enough years.
Yeah.
I think he only played
It
2 years.
would be a guy who played. Yeah.
It's Case Keenum,
You're Yeah. Okay.
who
Yeah.
played
Right around that time.
played at Houston, and is
Yeah.
had a good couple years in the NFL as a starter, and is still backing up in the
He's
NFL.
there.
Like
Yep.
it's yeah. So at the time he's another group of five team at the time. He was in the
Yep.
same era as Kellen. I'm pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
they were good
Probably
friends. So
competing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
do you know where Kellen is on the list? Because I know that's who you were
Gosh.
thinking of.
I know wins wise, he's right up there.
I think he was like he has 50 wins as a quarterback, and I think
Yes.
he was just at the top. I think someone
I
just
think.
passed him.
Okay. Yeah, because I think him and the reason why I said Baker was because I thought Baker was up there with him in wins, but I could be wrong. Is he like, I would say he's probably 5 or 6.
He's 10,
10. Okay.
which surprised me. I think it's part of his. I haven't looked at the list in a while, and there's
Yeah.
some other like more recent
Well, it's been,
quarterbacks that I'm
how
like,
many years has it been since the good old days?
yeah, I think he like
Long
2011,
time.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that list, I think what's hard now is you said earlier, you don't have quarterbacks that play 4 years
Out of school
at a
or
school.
play 4 years in general if they're good. Yeah.
Or it's the other thing now where you have quarterbacks playing more than 4
7
years
years.
because, like at least because of whatever the medical
Well,
waivers or
Ole
whatever
Miss's
they're.
quarterback got another year.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like a lot of these records are going to go away. Even the win
Yep.
record. You look at the win record. Kellen lost like whoever somebody passed him recently. I can't remember exactly. I don't know if Hertz did it or somebody like that.
Yeah.
It might have been Gabriel. But
Dylan
the part of
Gabriel.
it is
Yeah.
like you look at quarterbacks like that. I'm like, okay, well they played at 3 schools. They have the playoffs. They have extra games that were not available to like a Kellen Moore.
It's not actually him. Mark Gronkowski, Iowa. He has the most of 52.
Yeah, but I saw that too, and I think they went between Iowa
Did
and
they debunk it?
South
Well,
Dakota
he's
State. I
still
don't think
playing.
that he's
Okay.
still playing, but I think that
Like, are you talking like
Gabriel has
FBS?
more.
Like, yeah. Like
Yeah, I'm talking
FBS.
FBS.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Dylan, so like going back to our passing yards leader.
Jalen Hurts has the most with 51.
Yep. Okay.
And then
Yeah, so it's
it
like
says Kellen after that. So guys that didn't
50.
play, guys that played FBS their whole career, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then
Yeah,
Carson
I
Wentz.
mean, it's like if I would say because I would say if Kellen played at like some FBS school, like dude goes undefeated. They don't lose 3 games. He only lost 3 games as at FBS. And at the time, they were playing teams like Georgia on the road and Virginia Tech
Literally.
and
Michigan State and like they were playing Goliaths and just going, yeah, we'll win. Don't worry about us.
they were playing TCU with Andy Dalton, and it's
Yep.
like so yeah, it was like at a time where it's like he won games
These
and
guys.
it was like good games.
Yeah, it wasn't just
So-
like these week 0, week 1 games now where San Jose goes and plays Michigan or Fresno goes and plays Kansas. Not saying
It
that
was
Kansas,
except
yeah.
he was winning those games.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
now they're just like, okay, give us our $3 million and let us go on with our season.
Yeah. So I mean, Dylan Gabriel's number 2 on the list now.
Yep.
Or was, and then Bo Nix was 7. Those were like 2 guys that more recently that have kind of moved up that list. And
Yep.
Bo Nix was one that kind of snuck up on me a little bit, but he was a
Makes sense.
4-year player. He started
Yep.
as a freshman at Auburn, and it's like just a guy like that I kind of forgot about. Who?
It's because he didn't. Yeah, it's because he didn't move.
Yeah.
That's half the battle nowadays.
Definitely. Well, okay, we're 0-2 on Ask Brad so far.
I'll get one eventually, maybe next week. We'll see. Yeah, hopefully. That was a good question, whoever that was. Good job. If you have a question for me, put it in a comment somewhere. I don't get to see the questions beforehand.
Yeah, it's
So
always
Sky
it'll be
handles all that.
available on our story at some point.
Yep.
DM our don't DM our Instagram because
No,
Brad will see
I
it.
have all that
So
stuff. Yeah.
just respond to our stories, comment
If
below.
you
on
leave a comment on
Spotify.
Spotify, I won't see that most likely. Sky handles all the Spotify stuff, so yeah, ask me crazy questions.
If the question I want to see somebody ask, it's not related at all to our podcast,
Okay.
but something related to the Yankees or Kansas that you might not know. Do you think somebody could
That's
stump
fair.
you on those two teams? Or do you think
I'm
would you feel
sure
pretty confident if somebody asked you a question
uh,
about those two teams that you feel
I've
good?
been lifelong Kansas and New York Yankee fans. Kansas for basketball, my friends, not Kansas for football. I do have a
Who's
Kansas football jersey, but
okay? I got one for you first. Who was
okay.
Kansas's starting quarterback last year?
Yeah, what's his face? He did really well at the combine, actually. It's the same guy that always wins 4 or 5 games right off the bat. Kansas gets ranked, and then he gets hurt. What's his name? I know the running back. Oh, wait. No. I might be confusing them. Was Bean the running back or the quarterback?
It wasn't the quarterback.
Okay, so Bean's the running back. He's pretty good. Look out for him. Gosh dang, what is his name?
It was Jalen Daniels.
Thank you.
But I will say,
Yeah,
Kansas has probably one of the best new football stadiums that I've
I
seen
got to see it. I
in a
got to
while.
see it. Yeah, I got to see it in my wife and I went to a Kansas basketball game for the first time. If you off topic, obviously, but if you ever get to go to Allen Fieldhouse, holy dude. Also, I've never seen a student section as a music person, a student section have to syncopate rhythms in their fight song. They have offbeat claps. It's wild. And then they also sing. And
Yeah,
they sing pretty well. Good job, Kansas student section. But yeah, no, their football stadium looks great. I saw it from up on their hill. I looked down into it. I took some pictures of it. It looks great. So I'm excited. Obviously, they liked playing. I mean, I don't know if they liked playing in the Chiefs Stadium, but it's a cool experience for guys to get eyes on them. So, but yeah, no, should be good.
yeah, and we'll get to see Boise State's new north end zone,
Yes,
a little bit
finally.
closer to being done in the spring game, but obviously it's still a few months out from being fully done. So that'll be a cool new addition as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, you have anything else that you can think of
No,
that you saw
I
this
think we
week?
covered everything. Obviously, it's hard right now. So if you've listened all the way through, congratulations. Also,
Thank you for
once
sticking
we
with us
hit
through the most boring
yes,
season
time
of
of the year, yeah,
football. Yeah,
we started a podcast at the best time for you.
yeah.
Go
We'll
watch some
probably
World Baseball Classic.
yes.
It's
We'll
peak
probably
right now.
also, we're about to go into March Madness. We'll probably cover a
Yep.
little bit more of
Yeah.
some of our West Coast basketball teams as we slide into there. It just
Don't pick
move as
Gonzaga.
well.
They are not as good as they have been in the past years, okay?
It's hard
Don't
to
pick
like.
Kansas either. Kansas, Darren Peterson likes to check himself out of games. It's super great for us, actually. It's
It'll be
awful.
it'll be interesting. Right now, I
Don't
think
pay
the top.
someone $4 million to play on the court for 15 minutes a game, okay? Okay.
Yeah, I think Utah State might be one of our top teams coming out of the West for
They will
at least
be.
for smaller schools. But we'll see more after in the next week or so, and
Yep.
we'll shift into a little bit more of March Madness as that kind of becomes a big national focus. And obviously, we'll still keep up with anything that's happening in the college football world in the meantime. And then after March Madness, we're kind of
We're
fully into
there.
the football season. So yeah, summer ball and all that will be well on our way.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool, man. Appreciate always getting to chat with you, chat
Yeah, for
sports.
sure. I gotta go clean this purple mark off my wall before my wife sees it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, good to
Well,
talk to you,
hey,
bro.
go Team USA in the World Baseball
Yeah,
Classic. And
former Fresno State
yeah,
baseball player, man. Aaron Judge
Aaron
went yard.
George.
Don't listen to all the haters about how he got out by a 17-year-old. All right. It's Sky's fault. Sky texted me, hey, you think we get a grand slam here? Yeah. Oh, I'll turn it on. Instant bat break, double play.
Yeah, my next comment was or not.
Yep. Don't rage me about Aaron Judge either. It's very easy to.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
See you boys later. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next week.